All right, good evening. The Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners Town Hall meeting for February the 17th is now in session, it being 7 p.m. I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Foss
Present.
and Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Hanley,
Here.
and we did know that Commissioner Chismar would not be here this evening. And now we will move on to the invocation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We look out onto a transformative season. Today is, of course, Shrove Tuesday, a time for celebration, a time for merriment, a time for community joy. And we look out now as billions across the world will begin a season of fasting and of reflection and of self-discipline. And so we as elected officials might consider that spirit of self-discipline as we look out from this day of joy, as we look to provide the most well-balanced, most well-considered, most representative form of government that we can provide our constituents. Amen.
All right, so first is the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the agenda be approved.
And do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. Any discussion of the agenda? Any changes that we need to make tonight? No? All right. Mr. Krantz, we're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for approval of this evening's agenda of the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners Town Hall meeting, February 17th, 2026. Commissioner Foss, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Thank you.
Next, the approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the minutes.
And you want to specify those dates, just so we know what minutes we're talking about?
I don't have the
Here you
minutes.
go.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm
You're
so
welcome.
sorry. Yes, I move that we approve the minutes for January 27th, 2026, February 2nd, 2026, February 4th, 2026. Be approved as submitted. And
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
All right, and for the 27th, it was for both the open and the closed meeting. So do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanley. Any discussion of the minutes? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair, for approval of the board meeting minutes held on the 27th of January, 2nd of February, and the 4th of February. Commissioner Foss, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Thank
All
you.
right, starting with new business, we have ordinance 852-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 37, elections. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that ordinance number 852-26, amending Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 37, elections, be received by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. And Mr. Krantz?
Yes, thank you. A little background about this ordinance. In the fall of 2024, the State Board of Elections declared that they do not have the legal authority to enter into agreements with municipalities to lease voting equipment or provide other support. To remedy this, House Bill 322 was introduced and received its final vote for passage on the last day of session. As emergency legislation, this new law went into effect as soon as it was signed by the governor. The town has enjoyed a long-standing partnership with Harford County Board of Elections regarding utilization of state voting systems, equipment, services, and other materials in local municipal elections. And the cost of purchasing or leasing voting systems, equipment, services, and other materials can be very expensive. Therefore, town staff wish to extend their gratitude to the state, the Harford County Board of Elections, for continuing to partner with the town of Bel Air, especially in the most recent November 4th, 2025 election, and future municipal elections. So according to this, with regard to this ordinance, has come about because of those circumstances, and the town staff recommends that the Commissioners amend Chapter 37 elections to remove references to the state and/or direct references naming Harford County Board of Elections where appropriate that were previously codified in somewhat of an assumptive manner to reflect the new relationship with the state and the Harford County Board of Elections regarding the leasing of voting systems, equipment, services, and other materials. Staff also recommends adopting a time frame and amending the deadline for filing a certificate of candidacy, which would be to have a 90-day window no sooner than 135 days before an election and no later than 45 days before an election. So staff recommends that this ordinance be received by the board and a public hearing potentially to be scheduled on Monday, March 16th.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz. And I know most of this is sort of a housekeeping matter to sort of codify what our current relationship is with the local Board of Elections, which has been a great help in running our elections, a terrific resource, and we're very happy with how everything has been going. And then the one sort of substantive change is to put a timeline for filing candidacy, which certainly recognizes that you don't want somebody filing candidacy for 6 years from now, right now, which they currently could really do, although I don't think we've ever seen that. And also to set a deadline because of recognizing that ballots have to be printed and materials have to be readied with the names of the candidates. So at some point, you have to call, the door is closed, and you have to file or not file at this
I
point.
appreciate that. There's some other municipalities that have a narrower window for a candidate to file, so I think 90 days is a reasonable expectation, so.
I agree. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to see it be too short, so that people have plenty of time to come in based on their schedules and file if they're interested. But I do recognize that we need some parameters so that you're not printing ballots the night before an election.
Thank you. Or somebody declares early, super early, and I'm ill-prepared because I don't have the next election's materials prepared,
Right.
a year in advance or
Right.
something like that.
So we want to be the Goldilocks. We don't want to be too early. We don't want to be too late. We want to be just right and give everybody a fair opportunity, a wide window to come in and file if they're interested.
Thank you, yes.
Any questions for Mr. Krantz?
I should know this because I just filed the 45 days prior to the election. Is that consistent with what is current, or is that changing in any way?
That is consistent. That's not changing. It was 30 days a handful of years ago. Forgive me for not knowing the exact time frame, but we needed the extra 15 days when we changed that. So it's been a little bit easier of a crunch to get the ballots printed and to have them ready and available and distribute them so citizens can see the ballots in advance prior to the election. So I think a little bit of extra time. I don't want to shorten it, but I don't see a need to make it any longer at this time either.
And as a practical matter, I don't think we've had anybody be, earlier than 135 days, and nobody's tried after 45 before the election that I can recall. Yeah.
I might have been cutting it close when I filed. It was like May. So
I was
it
about
might
to say, I've had a couple
You were the
early
earliest
birds.
early bird.
Yeah.
Had a couple early birds.
But regardless, this is I think this is a wise window and puts us in. Not only is it competitive with what surrounding municipalities do, but quite frankly, I think it's superior to what surrounding municipalities do as far as their filing windows are concerned. So I think this is a good move.
All right. So we are finished with our discussion. Anybody else have anything you'd like to add? All right. In that case, Mr. Krantz.
This would be to request for the vote to receive ordinance 85226. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Ordinance is received. Thank you.
And as far as public comment, since there's no member of the public here this evening, I didn't call for it. There's no one here but us this evening. All right, next we have ordinance 853-26, amending the Town Code, Chapter 82, Personnel Section 82-3, B5. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that ordinance 853-26, amending Town Code Chapter 82, Personnel Section 82-3B5, be received by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. All right.
So this is a procedural change, which would widen the pool of town officials which receive commissioner consideration before appointment to include deputy directors in addition to the directors who already undergo commissioner consideration. It's important to note that this change is prospective and would only apply to openings that would occur after it is adopted.
And it literally just adds 3 words, and deputy directors to
3 words.
to the current ordinance, and it will not affect anybody that's currently a deputy director.
No
Only-
change to
only
the
in
process
future.
that currently, no change to the process, just who go through that process.
Correct.
Yep.
All right. Any further discussion of that? All right. And there being no member of the public here to comment, anyone else care to comment? No? All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the vote to receive ordinance 853-26, Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Ordinance is received. Thank you.
Next, we have ordinance 854-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 3, Signs, Article 15, Sign Regulations, Section 165-106B, 2B, 3C, regarding freestanding signs. May I have a motion?
Yes, I move that we amend the ordinance number 854-26, amending article regulations, be received by the Town Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanley. So, Mr. Small, it's like you for the rest of the evening, it looks like.
Looks like it. Do you want me to go one by one? through
I think we
these?
should go one by one.
Okay. I'll start with the kind of the explanation, and then I'll go to specifics each time. The Department of Planning and Community Development for the Town of Bel Air keeps records throughout the year noting discrepancies in code text and conflicting provisions that are discovered by staff. These notes are reviewed for potential amendment to address the need to clean up the code and make it easier to interpret and less confusing for the public. Descriptions of these changes are available to the public through digital media such as the town website. First item, which is 854-26, Article 15, Sign Regulations, that is Section 165-106B, 2B, 3C. That clarifies the freestanding signs can be located within a shopping center or mixed-use center without violating the billboard prohibition as long as they're within the project area and a development agreement is in place. What that basically says is that several shopping centers do have different parcels within the shopping center. If there's a sign on one parcel that advertises the use on another, it does not violate the idea of being a billboard, which is advertising something that's off-site. So that's the intent of this ordinance, is to it really is cleaning up the provisions that are within mixed use and shopping center. Town Board of Commissioners, through the work session review process, provided comment, and the staff adjusted the regulations to offer an improved description of the desired amendment. Staff recommends the Board of Town Commissioners receive ordinance number 854-26.
Okay, for the vote to receive ordinance 854-26, Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is received. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have, bless you, ordinance 854-26. No, wait a minute, we did that one, right? So we're up to 855. Ordinance 855-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2, Zoning, Article 3, Establishment and Regulation of Zoning Districts, Section 165-35, Permitted Use Tables. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that ordinance number 855-26, amending Attachment 1 Permitted Use Tables, be received by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. And Mr. Small.
Thank you. Ordinance 855, Article, or the Attachment 1, which are Tables 3-6 and Table 3-7, and that's the permitted use tables. Table 3.6 and 3.7, corrections regarding the location of cannabis businesses and the permitted use chart to correspond with the type of use in Article 7, which is the performance standards, that section to the code. In addition, to encompass the permitted uses for mixed-use centers in all categories that they may apply. So cannabis is just moved from service to retail, and mixed-use centers are included in both residential, service, and retail under the permitted use charts. The Town Board of Commissioners, through work session review process, provided comment, and the staff adjusted the regulations to offer the revised description. Staff recommends that the Board of Town Commissioners receive ordinance number 855-26.
What, before, that cannabis business use classification, was that on the books before Maryland legalized marijuana?
No.
No, okay. So
No.
that's recent?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Adding the mixed use to the service use table, the mixed use is already permitted in
Yes.
service use. It's just a matter of adding it to that table.
Just adding it so
Okay.
people can see that it's available. It's one of the, it made me a little nervous that people would look at it and say, oh, wait a minute, mixed use is not permitted in this zone, when it really is.
Okay.
And it is very convenient for folks to have that table to look at and have everything included in there.
Yes.
They can easily, at a glance, see where they belong. All right. Any further questions for Mr. Small? And again, we have no members of the public here this evening, so we are ready for the vote.
Okay. This is for the vote to receive ordinance 855-26. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is received. Thank you.
All right. Next is ordinance 856-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2, Zoning Article 7, Development and Performance Standards, Section 165-53, Performance Standards and Development Guidelines by Use, amending guidelines in Section 165-53, B2B, and adding guidelines in Section 165-53H2D. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that ordinance number 856-26, amending Article 7, Performance Standards and Development Guidelines, be received by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. And once again,
Thank you. Ordinance 856, and this is Article 7, Performance Standards, Section 165-53B, 2B, expanding the prohibition of Jersey barriers and barbed wire to all districts in Bel Air. Prior to this change, Jersey barriers were only prohibited, and barbed wire was only prohibited in what started out as the zones that were particular to form-based zoning, which was B2, B2A, and B3A. Now this expands it to all districts. One of the questions that came up during the work session was, well, how does, when you need an exception to that for whatever reason, how does that handled? We went back and looked at it and just decided that it's probably appropriate for the Director of Public Works to decide that, and not on a temporary basis. They can expressly say it's going to last for 6 months or it can be permanent. So that would be up to the Director of Public Works. Second section
And
is
Kevin,
once.
would that be, and this is probably actually a town council question, would that decision be appealable?
For Jersey barriers. Is that what you're asking?
If the Director of Public Works were to deny a request, would that be appealable in some way?
Yes, so if the Director of Public Works denied a request for Jersey barriers for a permit, it's any permit, then that comes before, I think, you guys.
I think it goes to Board of Appeals. It's be an interpretation of the code. just
Oh,
like
okay,
he's done.
yeah, that's right, I'm sorry. That took me off guard. Yeah, it would go to the Board of Appeals for a review of that decision.
Okay.
Okay.
And that would be, that's a different procedure than when one goes to the Board of Appeals to seek a variance.
Yes, because the
Right.
Board of Appeals acts as an appellate review board administrative agency for the directors of planning and DPW.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
We also added some minor criteria for the director to base his decision on. So section 16553H2D2A, adding allowances for the planning commission to waive lot line setbacks, landscape buffers, and building restrictions within a shopping center as currently provided in the mixed-use centers. It's provided in mixed use, it should be provided in the shopping centers. They're treated almost the same way, except for one allows for residential and the other one does not. So that's the only real difference there. It's just cleanup. Staff recommends the Board of Town Commissioners receive ordinance number 856-26.
Any questions for Mr. Small?
Would you be open to looking at amending the barbed wire portion? Because I was thinking about over towards Ellendale, we have Chavis and Corbin Fuel, and I was just looking on Google Maps. They do have barbed wire running across the top of the chain link, which I know that will be grandfathered in, but I guess, say they wanted to change, their layout or something along that. I would like for them to just be able to do it and not have to go through the town, because they have barbed wire, they want to keep people out of all their equipment and that type of thing.
It's fine with me. I think there's not a great deal of process to having the Director of Public Works provide that permit. Basically, when you're doing a fence and you're putting barbed wire on it, you're getting a fence permit anyway. So you would just add that to it and it would be part of the same paperwork.
Okay.
Now, would this would create a need for those folks who currently have that to come back to the Department of Public Works, though?
Only if they were looking to expand or alter their
But it would
existing
create a
fences.
non-conforming use, yes?
It would.
Right, okay. And we don't like those.
No.
Right, okay.
But the businesses would probably be happy with it. And I understand that certain businesses in certain areas are going to want to have that kind of thing to keep people out of their yard where they're trying to secure their equipment and things, so.
No, that wasn't the point I was making so much as, in order to cure their non-conforming use, they would have to do something. Now, I agree with you, Mr. Small, that something is not very labor-intensive at all. I don't suspect that Mr. Klein is, going to make them run through the American Ninja Warrior course to get their barbed wire permit. I see him formulating the runs, as he sits there. I think this is appropriate. I think this is fair. There'd be a little bit of, it'll be a little bit of roughness transitioning with the folks who already have it because it would technically be a non-conforming use, but the process for curing that non-conforming use would, essentially be, not to be flippant, but an email, so.
Right. If somebody were already have a fence and they wanted to make sure it's no longer non-conforming, it'd be a matter of them filling out a fence application, not paying any dollar amount, and just requesting the barbed wire on top.
Right.
We would give it to them, and then they would then be permitted.
But you could continue as a non-conforming use. You
You
don't
can
have to come
continue,
in and get
yes.
a permit, but if you later want to extend your fence another 4 feet or something like that,
Right.
you're going to have to come in and get a permit anyway. And then you
Exactly.
could cure while you're there, cure
Yes.
your non-conforming use. But you can just leave it as is.
Right.
I understand we've had issues with Jersey barriers. Have we had any issues with barbed wire, or is this more of a preventative measure that we don't want people?
I think it's more of a preventative measure. Actually,
Okay.
it's one of those things where I'm visualizing someone who's in a residential neighborhood wanting to put barbed wire up, and that concerns me. I think it's something that it would be nice to have a mechanism to prohibit that.
We certainly don't want that.
Whenever you think it won't ever happen, it happens.
Yes.
So I think you're wise to try to prepare for that just in case somebody wants to do that in a residential area, which I don't think would be very popular with the neighbors. But-
Right.
All right. Have any more questions for Mr. Small? All right.
Kevin, is the barbed wire on our fence down at Public Works okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Long as you don't expand.
You have to give yourself a permit, Steve.
Okay.
All right. We're ready, Mr. Cranes.
This is for the vote to receive ordinance 856-26. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is received. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have ordinance 857-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2, Zoning, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Section 165-11, Board of Town Commissioners, to add a reference to the Maryland Code Alcoholic Beverages and Cannabis, Section 22-1602, regarding waivers and related procedures and notices. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that we receive the ordinance number 857-26, amending Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, be received by the Bel Air Town Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Commissioner Hanley. And once again,
Thank you. Ordinance 857-26, this is Article 2, Administration and Enforcement. Section 165-11, this would allow provision of authority and reference to the process to make a recommendation to the liquor board whenever a waiver to the setback from house of worship or a school is requested. That's when it's requested, that waiver is requested from the liquor board, not the town, but the liquor board is required to seek a recommendation from the town board of commissioners regarding that waiver. So this would give you process and authority. And if there's any questions, town council is on top of it.
all right, as I recall, this came up in our review of our code to make liquor and cannabis play well together as instructed by the Maryland State Legislature, and we discovered that we had a little hole because we hadn't covered this, so it is now covered.
Correct. And this was also something that the attorney for the Harford County Liquor Board had pointed out to me. And a recent resident had pointed out that they were intending on seeking a waiver from you for this very setback. So we needed to put something in the code to allow for that mechanism to happen. So now we're good.
Great, and we appreciate the assistance from the liquor board and their council.
They've been wonderful. They've
That
been
is
great.
great, great to hear. All right, any further questions on this one? All right, there still being no members of the public here, we are ready for a vote.
This is for the vote to receive ordinance 857-26. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Ordinance is received. Thank you.
All right, and now we have public announcements. The Historical Society of Harford County will host a lecture on the Monpah Railroad on Saturday, February the 21st. The Monpah Comes to Hartford, led by volunteer Walt Holloway, starts at 2 p.m. in the Historical Society headquarters at 143 North Main Street. The Ma and Pa Railroad ran from Baltimore to York, Pennsylvania, and a stop in Bel Air along North Main Street. Tickets to the lecture are $15 per person and can be purchased online at harfordhistory.org. The Record Ride comes to Bel Air on Sunday, February the 22nd at the Bel Air Armory. This is your opportunity to look through more than 10,000 LPs as well as 45s, cassettes, and CDs as you shop for recordings by your favorite artists. The event is being produced by Record Riots, which hosts record buying events throughout the Northeast in association with Reb Records of Bel Air. The show runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. General admission tickets are $5 per person. Early admission tickets also are available at $15 per person, and purchasers will be able to start their shopping at 9 a.m. Tickets can be purchased online through Eventbrite or at the door. Visit recordriots.com for more information. The next Red Cross Blood Drive at the Bel Air Armory will be Thursday, February 26th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you want to make an appointment to make a life-saving blood donation, visit redcrossblood.org, call 1-800-RED-CROSS, which is 733-2767, or use the Red Cross Blood Donor app. The Cultural Arts Commission will meet at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, February the 18th in the Armory Conference Room. The Committee for Seniors and Citizens in Need will meet at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, February the 26th in the Bel Air Police Department Community Room. The Historic Preservation Commission will meet at 6 p.m. on Thursday, February the 26th in Town Hall. And the Board of Town Commissioners will hold a work session at 5:15 p.m. on Monday, February 23rd in Town Hall. And the next town meeting will be Monday, March the 2nd at 7 p.m. in Town Hall. So we're seeing March, spring must be on its way, right around the corner. if it's on our events list. So did I miss anything in the public announcements? Because there's always something. No? All right. We have public comments, and we have no members of the public here. So commissioners' comments.
We had discussed House Bill 235, Senate Bill 47, the Neighborhood Business Development Program, and we were wondering why they wanted to remove the local jurisdictions from having the approval authority. And the hearings revealed that local municipalities have 45 days to respond, and supposedly most municipalities just don't even answer. So in order to speed this process up, you know, so that way they don't have to wait for
Okay.
45, that was the motivation behind it. However, a lot of people pushed back and said, you're taking authority away from local municipalities when really you can just, you know, collapse the time interval to be 2 weeks or something like that. So I think that's what might end up happening with that one. So
I thought that was a theme, taking authority away from local jurisdictions
No.
for the legislature this year. So, I did sit for 1 hour and 45 minutes waiting for the Zoom meeting, and I got kicked out. I think it was because they had so many people that wanted to testify either in person or remotely, and I think they got a lot of negative input that they decided to terminate those of us who were waiting online after an hour and 3/4. But I will be sending my comments in writing anyway to the entire Economic Matters committee, which is, you have to actually manually enter 20 email addresses. So I have done that. They will get it. And we're also going to send it to the Senate group that has, and to our individual, our delegation. And I will also share it with MML to sort of keep them aware of what is going on. I know this was spearheaded actually by the mayor, I think of Sykesville,
Yes.
who had initiated a big email, and I think she's been wildly successful in getting people to come out. I did see the county executive also speaking against this on the news, and he's 100% right. It's another opportunity for the legislative body to just throw everything to the local jurisdictions and say, well, if it crowds schools and it makes a mess of traffic and it overburdens your infrastructure, figure it out. So thanks to them. But we have a lot of company on it. The one thing I have never been able to figure out is why in that bill there's an exception for any building lots whose permits have been issued in the preceding 3 years. I'm like, what sense does that make? And you're going to carve out in perpetuity, it looks like, that little group of people who've gotten a permit in the 3 years before the bill goes into effect. I have no idea.
Somebody in the General Assembly had a house built.
That's a thought. I mean,
There's
because
no other-
it's only going to
there's no
affect people
sense.
that, for 3 years, just this one little island, nothing before and nothing after.
Yeah.
So yes, it seems rather odd, and it wasn't mentioned in the fiscal note. I haven't seen it mentioned anywhere in the press. I know the county executive didn't mention it. I think it is just the most curious thing, because if it's a great idea, it's a great idea. So, and I think it's a terrible idea, just, to be clear, because I live in a 2,000 square foot colonial on about a 10,000 square foot lot. So theoretically, I could split that into 2 lots and put another house right behind mine. And I don't think anybody, I don't want to live in a neighborhood that is, what's the setback? Is it 10 feet that they want to reduce it to? That's the side. I think 5 is the side. 5 is the side, it's 10 in the back. So 20 feet away from my back door would be another house. And I just don't think that's really why people move to single-family neighborhoods or, Harford County specifically. So we'll see. I also attended
I
this.
think it is safe to say that Annapolis would all but abolish local jurisdictions
They would.
if they didn't need us to pass costs down to when they can't balance their budget.
Right.
That seems to be the only thing that
That we're
they
good for.
have interest in giving us more responsibility for, is cleaning up their pocketbook.
Right, which looks like it's coming our way, since they said they're not going to increase taxes and they're not going to increase fees again, because they've already increased everything. I attended this morning a group that was called by the Army Alliance. It was a great meeting. Senator Alsobrooks was there. It was really a listening session for the community, the Army Alliance, some folks from the Proving Ground, Bob Castley was there, his Economic Development Group was there, Mayor McGrady was there for us to all say, fund the Proving Ground, grow the Proving Ground. It is the #1 employer in Harford County, and I think it's 6th in the state, so it is huge. And I was very surprised at how few military they still have there. It's pretty much all civilian and defense contractors, but they are a big economic engine, and they're doing all sorts of cool things. One of the things they want to do, and they asked for funding for a couple of things. One was for water towers. Their water towers are really in bad shape, and they need that for water pressure and other things. There's a number of other things they wanted to fund, but one of the things they want to do out there is dark drones, so that they're not visible. They don't have a heat signature, and they're otherwise sort of invisible, and you're going to use it. They do like such really interesting cutting edge things out there, and almost none of it anymore is like, the old tanks that were there that have been moved, and all the military's gone. It's all very high tech. So it was very interesting. She and her staff seem very interested in making sure that the Proving Ground continues to be funded. So it was a good meeting. And I can't, we also got a very interesting petition to the council members. I actually went through all the names on the list. 3 out of the 10 are town residents. I counted 3. Maybe I'm off. Could be. Could be 5. All right, 5, whatever. But a number of them weren't. It's not signed. There's no return address. There's nothing. So for anybody that's out there that sent the petition in about a national movement to cut back on quality of life policing methods, like making arrests for vandalism, littering, loitering, vagrancy, public intoxication, and other quality of life violations, the town is not on board with that movement. I'd never even heard of it. We will not be joining them. We are going to continue to police Bel Air to keep it the wonderful, family-friendly, sort of great place to live that it has been for years, and we hope it stays that way for a long time. So don't be concerned. And I think that's all the comments I can think of at the moment.
I have one comment. I wanted to express my condolences to former town commissioner Jeffrey Close and Jeannie Close, who serves as our chair on the Cultural Arts Commission. And Jeffrey's brother, Tommy, passed away rather suddenly. So I wanted to express my condolences to them. I also wanted to give a shout out to Emmanuel Episcopal Church for their Shrove Tuesday pancake dinner. I'm stuffed right now and coming down from that carb high that I had earlier. But they also open up their doors on Sundays for breakfast for the public on the 1st and the 3rd of every month, and then they also have some type of fellowship dinner and it's really a service that they do for the public. So I just wanted to give them a shout out, Pete Cosentino and my brother Pete Schleyer too.
I hope everybody got to have their slice of king cake today. Good.
Anything else? Well, if we are finished commissioners' comments, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a
Second.
second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We are
Aye.
adjourned.